Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Hope you're well. Welcome to Wednesday. Today is Wednesday that is conducted by myself, Sampa Salome Mwansa, as part of the 8 a.m. Mentorship Academy. As we all know, and those that have been watching, thank you so much. On Mondays, we have Rev Walter. He's been talking about neuroscience and how to mold your brain into what you need it to do. On Tuesdays, we have Dr. Sunshine Sylvia, who speaks about the process of growing your mind. You know, I always say she's a doctor of the mind. So just putting your mind correctly, just so that you can learn, you can be malleable, you can seize opportunities, which is what we're talking about today. And on Wednesday, we have myself, Miss Sampa Salome Mwansa, and I'm so happy to be here. And then on Thursdays, we have Dr. Nelly, and on Fridays, we have Health Tips by New Image, talking about supplements that you need for your body to be healthy. I just wanted to mention that all those that watch on LinkedIn, unfortunately, we had a bit of a glitch, so we couldn't stream onto LinkedIn today, but we'll share with this afterwards. But you can watch on YouTube and also on Facebook. So we're going to start with this. What if I told you the secret of seizing opportunities is not having everything figured out? It's about being flexible. It's about doing everything that you need to do and you're locked onto your goal. That's what we're driving into today. So bending without breaking and without winning without losing yourself. What is it that you really want? Growing up, my mother has always asked me, what is it that you really want? When you articulate what you really want, that way, then it's easy for others to see what it is that you need to do. My daughter happens to be very assertive, and it was just her birthday on the 26th. And she says, Mommy, I just want balloons. I just want balloons, and I just want my few friends over. So I said, oh, okay, and what else do you want? She says, and a nice looking cake. So I said, okay, fair enough. So that's what we did for her, and she loved it so much. She loved it so much. And she said, this was the best birthday. Thank you so much. They painted. It was amazing. So why am I talking about this? It's about being assertive. If a 4-year-old can be assertive, why can't we? We need to really identify what we really, really want and start to seize those opportunities. You might not have the finances. You might not have the resources that you need to seize that opportunity, but you start. You can volunteer. You can seek other avenues of doing it. I just exhibited at the just ended Independence Week, and it was so amazing. You know, I was there, and before I was telling Mom, I was saying, Mom, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to exhibit. And she says, no, just go with your banners. Just go with your banners, go with the table, you set up, and you know, this is it. The first day I didn't even have a full table, but my presence alone, the ministry was like, oh wow, this is such an amazing thing. And the next day I gained more confidence, and I was able to go with I was able to find a table, put more things on the table, and then even put the ties, because my mother has gifted me ties that I'm going to sell and capitalize my business. So that's what it is. So you always have to seize opportunities. Opportunities come dressed differently. So if you want an opportunity to come on a plate, like ready cooked food, unfortunately, it doesn't come that way. Yeah, it comes as ingredients and you have to put them together, and then you seize that opportunity and create what it is that you want to create. So what is the paradox? You know, there are 3 types of people, right? There is the rigid planner, has a detailed goal, but often misses opportunities because they were not dressed up in how they wanted them to be dressed up in. And that was me. Rigid planner, planning to the T, planning everything. The things that you forget to plan, you're even like, no, I'm not going to deal with that. So this is what it is, the rigid planner, right? And then there's the endless wanderer, super flexible, without much direction, always ready, always available, seizes random opportunities, but hasn't got a distinct brand. There's people like that, right? And then there's the winning formula. So be like water. how water is it's malleable. It's malleable to its elements, to its in nature. It's very flexible. But then water is water. It flows around rivers and lakes. There's rainwater. So you have to be like water, malleable, but you don't change the constitution of what you are. Water is water. It just molds to the environment that it's in. So that's the way you need to be, where you have your distinct plan, you've got your target, right? And then from that target, then you're able to set up to say, okay, these are the deliberate steps that I'm going to take to be flexible and to be able to be malleable and work around the things that I want to do. So the framework of a flexible fixed vision, this is what it is. Let's get into it. And if you haven't gotten your pen, I think this is one of the classes where, one of the sessions where it would be nice to have a pen. So the framework, a flexible fixed vision, your North Star, your North Star is your goal. What is it that's your goal? Have you set your target? And I loved how Dumisani said it. He said, once you set your target, then you start looking at your first 50 meters, because when you're driving in the dark, you can only see your first 50 meters. So once you see your first 50 meters, you say, okay, how am I going to get to this place? How am I going to get to this place? How am I going to get to this place? I'm going to tell you a story about how the famous Airbnb started, right? They started off in their friend's home. And then there was this conference that had come into their neighborhood, into their environment. And they said, okay, look, there's so many people and there's not enough hotel rooms. What can we do? Okay, let's set up Airbnb. The actual ones that you blow up, right? Let's put a mattress. People can come through. We'll make them breakfast. So that's what they did. And then they didn't get much traction, and they knew, okay, look, for apps are ideally very expensive to set up. So what they did is, there was during elections, they thought of the idea to say, okay, let's come up with a way of fundraising so that we can put the money into our app. So they had what they call cereal. So they took cereal from the actual boxes and put the cereal into packaging that they made. So there was Obama O's, and then there was Captain McCain's. So it was so amazing because they come up with this idea, and because it was during election, they were able to sell to those ones that were for Obama, those ones that were for McCain. So it was, that got me thinking to say, okay, look, I may not have all the finances that I need right now, but I'm going to sell these ties that my mom has gifted me so that I can sell these ties and then put the money into the business, because the goal is to rent a co-working space, to rent a big space where SMEs can come through and sign some sort of membership fee, and they can use the boardroom that's going to be set up. They can come there, they can sit and do their business, and people can come and have a place where it is that they can find them. You can't underestimate the feeling that you get when you're anchored to a place. So let's say someone is looking for you. They know, okay, this person is found at Makenimo. This person is going to have a meeting here. So I want to meet this person. The first question that they ask you, especially when we're exhibiting, the first question that they're asking is, oh, this is amazing. Where are you found? So I said, okay, in Makeni. This is where I'm found. And so the logical thing is to set up at Makenimo or Cosmopolitan. But I've got a certain gravitation towards Makenimo because I like how it's still quiet and very premium feeling. So I like Makenimo. So again, we're going back to the goal. So that's my goal. My goal is to set up at Makenimo with desks that other SMEs like me, who might not ideally not be able to afford to be at a mall, can afford, because we're sharing resources. So this is what it is. So that is my North Star. That is my big, audacious goal. That's my goal. And then you have to be absolutely clear on your definition of your goal. Not society's version, not your parents' dream, because my parents, I can assure you, my parents being entrepreneurs probably wanted me to go and maybe take the route of finding a job and, but my mom's always pushed me to say, look, you have to know what you really want. I happen to have a degree and pursuing my master's in project management. I've been pursuing my master's in project management, but I'm here to tell you that entrepreneurship is not something that you just say, oh, okay, I failed to find a job, so I'm going to do entrepreneurship. Or I failed to get a degree, so I'm going to get into entrepreneurship. No, entrepreneurship needs to be seen as its own, where you have the very deliberate goal to say, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to do it right. So this is what I have done. It's something which I can find a job, but I want to create jobs because there are no jobs. So me having a hub will mean that I'll have to hire a personal assistant. I'll have to hire so many people that will make it work. I have to make partnerships. I've already made partnerships with a legal firm and an accounting firm. So these are things that I'm creating. And from that, other people can benefit. So this is what it is that I am deliberately doing. And my mother and my mentor actually had a business shower for me. And this is not restricted to me. It's also going to be open to other people as a way of crowdfunding. What this does is that people that really mean you well, people that want to see you succeed, they come through and say, okay, here is something that you can have in your office. Here is a company car. Even those that are doing Yango, you could have a business shower, someone can buy you a car, and then you can even then do Yango using your own car. So these are things that are available to us as SMEs. Growing our brains, having a growth mindset. This is what it is. So I want you to just have your goal and have your North Star so that you say, okay, I want financial freedom to spend time and impact 100,000 lives through my work. So for me, I want to impact SMEs, in particular mompreneurs, because I have a soft spot for mothers. My mom is a mompreneur, right? She has raised us, and I've got a brother who's got sickle cell. I've got asthma. So she chose entrepreneurship. She chose entrepreneurship, and she said, look, this is the only way I'm going to be able to be in control of my own time and be able to take care of my children. So from that, I said, she's the number one mompreneur, and she needs to be commended for what she's done and the impact that she's had in my life. So your path to your goal will change. The path will change, but the goal should never change. And don't be too strict to say, oh no, this is what the goal. And you can go to town using different routes, right? You find that there's a roadblock here. What are you going to do? You're not going to continue on the road that has a roadblock. You're going to divert and use another route, but you will not change your destination. So this is the way it is. When you've set your goal, it's a destination. And the journeys and the routes that you're going to use may change from time to time, depending on the obstacles or the milestones that you're going to reach. So this is what it is. So you need to recognize that details will bring you closer to your goal. Sometimes details are pivoting. Sometimes it's to tell you, okay, this is what you're doing. Don't do it in this way. Try another way. So we're going to talk about why this matters. There's something that has happened in the most recent times. Before, it was globalization, where the markets just opened up and someone in Zambia could sell something to someone in the States, someone in England, someone in, you don't have to be confined to your sport. And what globalization then brought in was technological advancements. We spoke about Airbnb just now. They have an app where anywhere in the world, someone can rent out their place, put it on Airbnb, put it nicely, put it on Airbnb, and be able to generate revenue from that. That has been created because of one, globalization, two, because of technology. So you need to understand and embrace. That this is something which is there to help you. It's not there to create competition. It's not, we need to start changing our mindset from, okay, everyone is a competitor, to everybody is a potential collaborator. Once you start thinking like collaboration, partnerships, it changes your mind, because then you can scale faster, you can have access to more resources, you can, entrepreneurship is hard. I can tell you that. Entrepreneurship is very hard. So doing it alone, your likelihood of failing is very high. I'm going to say that again. Entrepreneurship is very, very hard, and your likelihood of failure if you do it alone is very high. So why not come together as a community and say, okay, let's work together and see how this can grow and see how this can impact 100,000 lives and impact mompreneurs who may not have the opportunity. And already people have identified me as someone who is good at market linkages and connections. And this is something that I leverage on. And I said, oh, that's amazing, because that's exactly what DJ Business does. We not only do compliance, we do market linkages, and we make sure that you as an entrepreneur have everything that you need to succeed. Teamwork makes the dream work. I'm going to say that again. Teamwork makes the dream work. So it's very important for you to have your vision, and for you to have your network, for you to know how to tap into your network. Because you can have a network and not tap into it. What happens is it's the same as not having a network, right? So we've learned how to tap into our networks. We've learned how to leverage on our linkages, how to leverage on things that we do, which make it so, which make our goals achievable. So I'm going to give you a practical formula. So number one, you need to anchor yourself. Write down your core goal. Write it down. Even if it's after this, you need to write it down. Write down your core goal. One clear destination. One clear destination. Focus. You need to focus on one clear destination, one goal. You test it. Does this excite you at 3 a.m. the same way it excites you at 3 p.m.? Does this excite you enough for you to wake up in the morning, even if you're not being paid, for you to carry on, for you to actually pay someone to make you do this, right? You need to revisit it quarterly, but don't change it weekly. You need to revisit quarterly. You need to review. This goes back to the smarter goals that we learn on our Tuesday on sessions, to say you need to have smarter goals. Review, reflect, realign. So this is what I'm saying. Anchor yourself and your goal, and then revisit it quarterly, not weekly, quarterly. How far am I to this goal? How far am I to achieving what it is that I've set it out? You can even write it down, put it on a board somewhere. What is your big audacious goal? Mine is to have a store, a big store at Makeni Mall, fully kitted out with projector, a boardroom table, shared workspace. That's what my big audacious goal is. And then stay loose with your methods. That's number two. So number one is anchor yourself, know your goal. Number two, stay loose in your methods. Plan A rarely works, and that's normal. Every failure is feedback. Every failure is feedback. Say yes to unexpected opportunities that align to your goal. So stay loose in your methods. Your first initial plan rarely works, and that's normal, because it tells you that, okay, try and do this way. Every failure is feedback. Say yes to unexpected opportunities that align with your goal. Say no to shiny distractions that keep you away from achieving your goal. Not every event is an event that you will go to. You need to go to events that align with what it is, because there's so many events that go on in a month. You can find there's 100 events, but you need to be able to say, okay, this event, how does it align to my goals? How does this other event align to my goals? So you need to be able to say, okay, this aligns because I'm looking to network with the MD of so and so. Because through attending their networking events is the only way that you're going to be able to meet some of these people, right? So networking events levels the playing field, because your chances of meeting an MD of a bank or an MD of an audit firm are higher, because you're showing genuine interest in what they're also doing. That's a marketing tool that they're using to have events. So when you attend, it means you're interested in what they're doing. But if you're not going to attend their event and want to go and follow them to their office, likely is they won't give you as much audience as they will when you're at an event. So be deliberate with the events that you go to, stay loose in your methods that you use. Number 3, develop your opportunity radar. So number 3, develop your opportunity radar. Does this move me closer to my goal? What can I learn from this setback? Ask yourself, what door just opened that I didn't see before? Like I said, technology has leveled the playing field, and I'm creating a database for and each SME sector is going to be on this database. So you say, okay, you're in agriculture. When you click there, you'll be able to see all the SMEs that are in agriculture. You click on manufacturing, you'll be able to see all the SMEs that are in manufacturing. You click on textiles, you'll be able to see all the SMEs that are in textiles. And this is such, it's expensive to create this database, but this is something that I'm creating, and anybody that wants to collaborate in creating this database is more than welcome. So you build your flexibility muscle. Do things that scare you weekly, right? Talk to people outside of your bubble. You know, I think Mom is laughing in the background because I was someone who was, oh no, but I'm shy. Oh no, but I can't do this. What about if they laugh? And she says, but why are you attaching meaning to if, you know, and she gave me this book called GoPro. It's a network marketing book. So you read it, and I've learned not to attach meaning. When someone doesn't like my product, it doesn't mean they don't like me. It's just they're giving me feedback to say, okay, your product is this, but it's not for me. So this is something that we need to be aware of. Talk to people outside your bubble. Learn skills adjacent to your main path. So skills, capital building, capacity building. Capacity building is very important because you need to learn the skills that you need to have for you to advance yourself. Practice making decisions with incomplete information. Practice making decisions with incomplete information. Oh, this one's a big one. What this means is you need to be able to put piece puzzles together, because what this does, you're able to say, okay, this what I'm doing is leading me to my goals. So basically, don't be afraid to move. Like a baby when they are walking, when they're learning to walk, it might seem like they might not walk, but eventually they'll get to walk because every day they keep practicing. Every day they keep practicing. They're not sure of where they're going, but they're doing it. They keep practicing until eventually it becomes something that they can do without even thinking. So I'm going to talk about mindset, the mindset shift. This is something that Dr. Sunshine Sylvia is always talking about. This is a big thing, you know. This is what can either make your business grow or make your business crumble, right? The mindset shift. Instead of saying this wasn't supposed to happen, think interesting. How can I use this? Instead of saying, I failed, maybe this isn't for me, change it into, I learned what doesn't work. What's the next thing? What's the next course of action? Change it from, I need perfect conditions to start. Change it to, I'll start now and adjust as I learn. You know, there's an analogy where I saw someone trying to put a ball into a basket, right? What this does, they're trying to, and they keep failing, but eventually on the 10th try, they eventually got the ball into the basket. What am I saying is start, adjust, practice. There's a reason why they say practice makes perfect, because as you start and do and adjust, relearn, learn, this is something that you can do. So I'm going to give you a real world example. Think about any successful person you admire, right? Just think about it. Think about any successful person that you admire. You can think of Michael Jordan, you can think of Jeff Bezos, you can think of so many people. Even in Zambia, you think of Monica Musonda, you think of Dr. Sunshine Sylvia. Do you think these people have never failed? They've failed multiple times, multiple times. But what differentiates this from other people is that they always get up, dust themselves away, and continue. They always get up. They never stop pivoting. They never stop learning. When Big Tree started doing noodles, did she say, "Oh, okay, no, I'm not going to get into noodles anymore. They're bigger than me. They have a bigger balance sheet"? No, she didn't. She just carried on. She's got her market share. There's enough for everyone. There's enough for everyone. She's got her market share, and she said, "Look, I'm going to service my clients to the best of my ability so that they stay loyal to me." So, and this is something that a lot of people would have felt, "Oh, okay, no, I can't do this. There's bigger players that are coming into the market," and then you fold. You fold very quickly before you actually realize that you had a bargaining chip on your shoulder, that you've got very loyal customers. You've got very loyal customers that are willing to see you succeed. So I'm going to also talk about Steve Jobs. Do you know that Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, came back stronger, and then grew Apple to the huge company that it is today? Oprah got fired from her first TV job and used it as a catalyst to then go and create her own. Netflix started out mailing DVDs, pivoted into streaming, and used this opportunity to grow. So it's so important that you stay malleable without changing your goal, right? You know, so the call to action for this week, as we wind up, we've got about 4 minutes left. This week is not someday. This week can be someone's day one. I don't know if I'm speaking to somebody out there. This week can be your day one. What is it that you really want to do? Write down your goal. You can send me a message in my inbox if you need assistance. We are here to assist. We are here to help you to reach your goal. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, number one, write down your one clear goal. Once you write down your one clear goal, make it non-negotiable that this goal is something that you're going to achieve. Don't shake from it. But you can set up your first 50 meters, but your one big goal should never change. It should be a target. And then identify one opportunities that you've been ignoring. I'm sure you've got people that constantly come to you. "Oh, okay, we're looking to, can you please help us find where to buy X or Y item? Or do you know where they sell the best rice? Or do you know where they're always coming to you saying that, okay, oh, can you help us lose weight?" You know, that's something that you can do. You take it as a business and you say, "Okay, now I'm starting a club where I help mothers lose weight. And this is something that you can take up as an opportunity." And you say, "Okay, for you to stay on course, we'll be having weekly online virtual meetings so that you can stay on course." And you say, "Okay, this is how far you are from your goal." That's a business. You look at different problems on the market and you find solutions to them. Do one thing outside of your comfort zone. If you're shy, learn to speak. Speak to the mirror. Say, "Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be speaking to the mirror every morning until I get comfortable enough to speak to others." You know, pick up your phone. "Oh, okay, what event is happening this week? What event is happening this month?" And then you plan for it. And there's a lot of free events. I'll encourage you to join the Lusaka Chamber of Commerce. Why? Is because there's a lot of free events that are posted on the group there. And this is something that you can use to leverage and say, "Okay, I'm going to go to this event and see who it is that you're going to meet." And then do remember one thing. Opportunities don't come dressed as opportunities. They come dressed as hard work. They come dressed as detours. They come dressed as problems, unexpected eventualities. And then now we start creating solutions to problems that we've identified. So that's what it is. We need to always take opportunities and seize those opportunities and celebrate milestones. Your job isn't to predict the future. Your job is to keep going, to be so flexible in what you do and to get there no matter what. When everybody sees obstacles, You see solutions. You see a potential business. Be malleable, have a goal, seize what it is that you need to do. And then I'm going to just close with this. The future belongs to those who are clear on their journeys and they know where they want to go and they are going there, and they don't necessarily may have the car or the resources, but they know they are going to get there. They know they are going to maybe get a lift. They are going to maybe walk part of the way, but at the end of the day, they know their goal. And so this is what it is that you need to do. You need to know your goal. Write your one clear goal and start working towards it. So now I'd just like to say thank you so much for listening, and I'm open to support SMEs. And don't forget, my big audacious goal is to have a space at Bakeni Mall. Watch this space. Thank you so much. Bye.